Hi, it's Lee the History Boy. Notice how I'm sitting on the toilet, but I'm not actually using it. Yeah, that's my Maurice Moss impression for all the IT crowd, watchers out there. Anyway, let's get to the subject of the matter. This is an intro, by the way. Yes, this is the intro to 20 questions. That's 20 questions about just trivia in general, films, history. I do try to bulk it out with history, but also obscure things that people might actually know because people's viewpoints on things are always interesting. So yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, comment on all my 20 questions, episodes, and well, yeah, this is Liam J. Roberts, Lee the History Boy, with 20 questions, and that's every fortnight, aka around the time of 2 weeks. There's not an exact day all the time, like with my fun facts, but I'm kind of doing this instead. So, welcome to 20 Questions with your host, Liam James Roberts, aka Lee the History Boy, or just Lee, if you like. Anyway, stay tuned. Hello, it's 20 Questions with your host, Lee the History Boy, and we're on episode 3. So let's get a shift on, as they say. Question 1. The first Pride March outside London took place in which English village, town, or city? Was this Rochdale, Huddersfield, or Boynton? And if any of you said, whoever said Huddersfield, well done, because you would have been correct. Sometimes I walk past there. There's a place near a church around the town where they have like an artist's tapestry thing on a cafe window when I'm at the media centre down there volunteering. Rochdale and Boynton are other northern cities. Rochdale's technically Manchester way, and Boynton's in somewhere in North Yorkshire. Also, the last name of Rami Malek's fiance, wife now. If you know, you know, basically. Question 2. Eduardo is the first name of which member of the Salamanca family in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul? Is this Tuco, Nerdos, or Lalo? And for all you Breaking Bad nerds out there, shout out to my mate Ryan. When he gets round to watching this, you will know that it's Lalo. Tuco is the guy that nearly kills Jesse, and so I dip in and out of these things. Nerdos, I think, is the goon that gets beaten to death by Tuco in front of Walt and Jesse. Lalo, interesting thing about Lalo as actor, Tony Dalton. It's sort of a stage name, Dalton. He's actually more Mexican of a lot more Mexican background than say Mark Margolis. Who's Hector. He's Russian Jewish, but he plays a lot of Hispanics. Tony Dalton's father is actually Mexican, but he took his mum's last name as a stage name. I don't really know what his birth surname is, so to speak. So about the rustling, I should have stapled these together, but couldn't be asked. Which actor played Bernie Rose in the Nicholas Winding Refn film adaptation of Drive? Was this Saul Rubinek, Albert Brooks, or Steve Carell? And if any of you lot said Albert Brooks, you would have been right, and frigging terrifying he was in that. I mean, who thought that the voice of Nemo's dad could be so terrifying as a gangster? Steve Carell is known for his betrayal of John DuPont, the benefactor and founder of Team Foxcatcher, based on real events, American wrestling team that he trained on his farm, the farm called Foxcatcher. He's actually unsettling in that. Saul Rubinek. Rubinek is probably most famous for being the dodgy film director in True Romance. All right, question 4. Guy Fawkes was nicknamed Guido by who? Was it the Filipinos, the Japanese, or the Spanish? And very well done to whoever said the Spanish. Yeah, Guy Fawkes was a mercenary for hire for a lot of people. Hence why he was instrumental in the part of the operation of the gunpowder plot. It was really Robert Catesby that was the brains of the outfit, leader and stuff like that. I can't remember the other guys' names, but Guy Fawkes was like munitions. He was essentially a terrorist. In fact, he was a terrorist, but I don't know if terrorist was technically a term back then. All right, question 5. Despite being called by his middle name, Bruce Banner's first name is actually what? Is it Robert, Walter, or Brian? And well done for you fellow comic nerds out there. And there's going to be another comic question in there actually. That said Robert, Dr. Robert Bruce Banner. For some reason he goes by Bruce. Walter, I kind of put in there for 2 reasons. Walter Willis, who went by Bruce Willis, and also Walter Lankowski is the member of Alpha Flight, the Canadian super team Alpha Flight that know Wolverine, of course, because apparently everybody in Marvel Canada knows everybody. But he's Sasquatch, and at least if you know your comics lore like I do, not to show off, but relatively blah 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 blah. Get the frick on with it. Lankowski is an old friend of Bruce's, addressing the immortal hug that they knew each other since college, where Walter was an exchange student, I think, somewhere in New Mexico, I think. Okay. Question 6. Australian Aboriginals were given the right to vote in which decade of the 20th century? 1960s, 1970s, or the 1980s? And the answer is 1960s. Well, very well done if you said that. I found that out a couple of days ago from a quiz book that I found. I had to put that in there because it's just it's one of those things where it's like you expect it to be earlier than that, but also at the same time later than that too. Yeah. No wonder the Aussies still do that daft apologise to the the Aborigines. Which is daft. Even they can't be arsed with it. St. Petersburg, Florida might have potentially been called what instead? Yorkville, Detroit, or Delaware? And this one's a fascinating fact as well. Yeah, well done to any of you that said Detroit. Yeah, as I mentioned to a mate of mine earlier in the day, it was It was a result of a towing. My brain's tired. Towing course sounds like a weird band name, like Hoobastank. It was a result of a coin toss between a successful Russian businessman and either a northern, American or Canadian businessman who did some kind of wager. I can't remember the actual details of it, but basically, the Russian bloke won the bet, the coin toss, and so got to name it Yorkville. There's a Battle of Yorkville in the American Revolution or / American War of Independence. I think Ohio, but there's also Yorkville in Canada, I think. Delaware is known for being officially the first US state. All right then. Question 8. Land of the Long White Cloud is the Maori name for which country? Is this Christmas Island, Kiribati, or New Zealand? Yeah, and well done to you, those who said New Zealand. I think that's something to do with their mythology. Kiribati is a weird one. I don't really know anything about that apart from it's something to do with some weird, I guess, I suppose you could say, Polynesian native word. If it is I think it is a Polynesian place. I'm pretty sure it is for the name Charles. Christmas Island. Yeah, I just put that there basically because I wanted to put that there because it's such an interesting Christmas country name to me. because, it isn't Christmas all year round. Question 9. Bartholomew Roberts was a pirate captain from where? Was this Cornwall, Trinidad and Tobago, or Wales? And if you said Wales, very well done. Potentially not a relative of mine, despite my last name, Roberts. That's more of a step name, blah, 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 World War II stuff I won't bore you with right now. But yeah, Bartholomew Roberts was also notorious for being, well, apart from, if you know the Pirates of the Caribbean films, he's sort of name dropped in the binding, helping Davy Jones bind Calypso. They say Captain Bartholomew, which they mean him. They don't say Roberts or Captain Roberts. They just say Captain Bartholomew. The pirate accord thing, whatever it is. But yeah, he was a very real person. He was very religious. God knows why he became a pirate, because it's like pirates steal things, but then it's and kill every now and again. So God knows what they did. But one of his known rules was no getting trousered after lights out, basically. All right, question 10. Munchausen's by proxy syndrome was named after an eccentric man with which noble rank? A. Earl, B. Baron, or C. Viscount? And if you lot know your weird history, well done if you said Baron. Baron Munchausen. Named after, a guy who either completely fibbed about what he did or greatly exaggerated, or a bit of both. Basically, like one of those, pull the other one, mate, kind of boasts. Really sorry about this. Comedian Lee Evans' father had what profession? Was he a boxer, a comedian, or a pub landlord? And I love Lee Evans. Love him. Probably a childhood comedian, actually, when I was on DVD. But anyway, let's get to it. His old man actually was a comedian, just like his son. I think you can find Lee's old man's stand-up routines. I think he's called Dave. Just look up Lee Evans' dad's comedian on YouTube or wherever. Maybe Daily Motion if you prefer, but whichever. Okay. Right, question 12. Which Saving Private Ryan character was portrayed by Tom Sizemore? Was this Horvath, Ryburn, or Steamboat Willie? And if you said Horvath, you would have been correct. Ryburn was the brutally honest Brooklyn soldier, and I can't remember the actor's name. Steamboat Willie was the German or Czech soldier. I think German. They killed a few Czechs because they couldn't understand what they were saying. He was a German soldier that they held hostage, and they named him after the. I don't know why. They named him after the Mickey Mouse film of the same name. Question 13. Toby Kebbell was raised where? Hurrah, Nottingham, or Coventry? And well done if to those of you that said Nottingham. Coventry, I wanted a kind of a Midlands city, just because it's not too far from Nottingham. But what do I know? My British geography is absolute pants. Hurrah! I put that in there as a little reference to where his dad was from, country-wise. His dad is from Zimbabwe. Toby himself actually was from the same county, West Yorkshire, as I am, and also Jodie Whittaker, who was born in Skelmanthorpe near Huddersfield, but same county, where they played husband and wife in Black Mirror's episode of called The Entire History of You. Really good early one. I recommend it. But Toby Kebbell was actually born in Pontefract, but raised in Nottingham. And speaking of people from West Yorkshire, coming up. 14. Patrick Stewart appeared in which soap in the 1960s? Was this Coronation Street, Brookside, or Emmerdale? And those of you, by Jove, as my gran would say, well done. If you said Coronation Street, I think he played a firefighter in an episode. Brookside wasn't around. Neither was Emmerdale until about 1974, when it was called Emmerdale Farm. Also, Coronation Street, really, yeah. Linus Roach, who's known for being ADA Mike Cutter in Law and Order, Jeremiah Sand in Mandy, the Nicolas Cage film, and King Egbert of Wessex, maybe, in Vikings. Linus Roach was on there as Peter Barlow before he got replaced by whoever it is, but also the son of Bill Roach, Ken Barlow. And also Coronation Street. That's how Ben Kingsley sort of got put on the maps, kind of a little bit, and then spread. And of course, back to Patrick Stewart. Ian McKellen did actually appear in it, but it was like a guest appearance years later that I barely remember. Question 15. Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa is known for portraying Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat movie and Mortal Kombat 11. But which Tekken combatant did he portray in its live-action film adaptation? Was this Kazuya Mishima, Yoshimitsu, or Heihachi Mishima? And, of course, best character in the film, at least to me, he was Heihachi, Old King of Iron Fist. He really did a really good part in that film. Kazuya Mishima, his son, was played by Anthony Dale, who is actually of Japanese descent through his mother. Tagawa's like fully Japanese American. He's known for being in what I know him from 21 Jump Street as a goon, and he was in. Oh yeah. He was also in Mortal Kombat 2. I forgot Mortal Kombat Legacy Season 1 or 2 as Scorpion. I actually like that a lot. But he was also in. He's also in the Magnum PI reboot. Yoshimitsu is played by like a stuntman I can't remember the name of. But yeah, Carey does a really good after credits thing. Oh, just before I get about to die. I am Mishima Heihachi. I am Tekken. Pretty badass moment, I think. Alright. Question 16. Which Black Swan actor or actress has a daughter named Diva? Or Diva? I don't actually know how to pronounce her name. I haven't looked it up because I'm lazy that way. But I will. Some point. Whatever. You all got the gist. Was this Barbara Hershey, Vincent Cassell, or Michelle Rodriguez? And very well done to all of those who said Vincent Cassell, who, actually speaking of Tekken, he voices the suave boss of Raven, Victor Chevalier, in Tekken 8, which I didn't expect. It was pretty cool, that. Yeah, put Barbara Hershey in there because she plays the mother of Nina, played by Natalie Portman in the film, and Michelle Rodriguez is an odd one out, but it's not without its reasons. She also appeared in Annihilation alongside Natalie Portman, which I recommend as a note to do kind of watch. There's also a book about it. Alex Garland. He may have wrote both the book and the film, which mad respect to him if he did both. Question 17. Austro-Hungarian Emperor. God, I sound like Barry from Eggheads. Jesus Christ. Franz Joseph had a brother who held dominion over Brazil. But what was his name? Was this Pedro, Maximilian, or Frederick? Very well done. And those of you who might have seen one of my fun facts episodes about Franz Joseph, if you remember that far back, it's Pedro Brazil, I think the second. Maximilian is another brother who had like a weird attempted lording over Mexico. Frederick is just another German, like a Prussian. He's most famous in modern times for basically just Goebbels, Hitler's right hand man, for basically worshipping Frederick the Great, the last great German king, emperor, lord, whatever. Yeah. Goebbels really looked up to Frederick as like a comparative person with Hitler. Like he wanted like a Frederick the Great type to lead the Third Reich. Lucien Ginsburg was the original name of which Frenchman? Was this Charles de Gaulle, Jean Reno, or Sir Gamborg? And before I tell you the answer, yes, this was another subject of one of my fun facts that I used to do, which I may pick up again at some point. Yeah, Gamborg. He was born to Russian Jews, and speaking of Nazis, in the last question, he was around just when the Vichy France stuff was going on. The really, really bad times for Jews. Got given the Star of David and everything. He was of Russian Jewish background. Jean Reno is a Spanish Moroccan, but I think raised in France, or raised in a French-speaking household in Morocco. Charles de Gaulle is very much French, but his maternal background is some Scottish heraldry somewhere, or was. Question 19. In Marvel Comics, which teleporting mutant, or, if you prefer, Homo Superior, is the father of Nightcrawler? Is this John Wraith, Azazel, or Proteus? And the answer is Azazel. Well done to those who said it. I'm running short on time, recording time. That's why I'm hurrying through this like a madman, like Jeremy Clarkson towards the end of an episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Right, final question. Every person of Caucasian descent can trace their bloodline back to which Frankish emperor? Was this Odo, Clovis, or Charlemagne? And well done if you all said, those of you said Charlemagne. This came up in a QI question. Maybe look that up at some point. I recommend it. Anyway, this concludes. Sorry for the rushed stuff at the end, but this concludes the third episode of 20 Quiztions. Stay tuned for episode 4 in the next one, whatever.